Hey guys, it's Maymay and welcome to a Maker Monday. And in this edition, I'm going to show you how to use the Explosion Board. We had a visitor in this week named Terry, and she asked if I would show you guys how to use it. And I thought this would be the perfect opportunity. Now, this is by We Are Memory Keepers, and we have this in stock. And this is what you can do. I'm going to demonstrate for you how the board works and kind of show you how to make a quick box. Okay, this is what it looks like when it comes out of the packaging. You have this little piece here, which I'm going to take off. I leave it there to store it, but when I'm working with it, I take it off because it just kind of gets in my way. But this is the template you'll use on the corners of the page to make the heart-shaped box, which I'll show you. For the board, this is it. It's super easy. You do get a bone folder with it, but as you can see, mine is not here because I typically use my own bone folder anyway. So I got this guy and this is what we're going to use. Okay, so before we get into making, let's look at what the board does and how to read it, okay? So the first place I want you to look is, do you see here it says box chart? And then down here it says lid chart. So this is the information you need for sizing of the box, and this is the sizes you need for the lid. Okay, so let's look at what sizes you have. You have extra, extra large. That is your largest box you can make, and you can do that with a 12 by 12 piece of paper. And do you notice that it has these little icons? You've got the box icon and the paper icon. Those are going to come in handy in a few minutes. Just remember, that's where you find those icons. Okay, so you can go 2XL all the way to double extra small. See that extra small, and that's a 6 by 6 box. Okay, now let's come down here to lid chart. When you look at the lid, you see the little lid and the paper. These are the sizes of the lid, and this is the size of the paper you need to make it. So it works the same. If I want to make an extra small box, I use a 6 by 6 piece of paper. If I want to make an extra small lid, I use a 4.5 by 4.5 piece of paper. Now, I'll tell you, in making these guys, I did a little edit on this box. I felt like this lid was a tiny bit too big, and I dropped mine down by about 1/4 of an inch. You may find you need to do that too, and if you do, and you think you're going to be consistent with that, you might want to take a little marker and just write out here your size that you wanted to do. You know, just use a Sharpie and change the size for your project, and that'll be fine. You'll just know that in the future. Or you could use a label if you have a label maker, something like that. All right, so that's this side. Let's look at the top. Remember how I told you these little icons will matter in a minute? Here's where they do. Do you see the little lid icon? You know that this little teardrop and this little score line all coincide with the lid. And then if you look at this and you see the little box icon that matches this one, this means all of these little bubbles and all of these score lines coincide with the box, okay? Now, the only other thing you have to pay attention to is this little guy. He's the one that's going to send you this way and do your diagonal scores, and we'll get to that in just a second. Breaking in here to ask you to hit that red subscribe button. It's free. Also hit the bell button beside it. You can help me reach my big goal this year of 400,000 subscribers. Okay, back to crafting. Okay, let's make our first box. Let's start with the largest box. Let's make a 2XL box. And I'm just going to be using some solid paper today. The reason is I want you to see the difference in sizes as we go. So these solid papers will help you be able to do that very easy. So when making the XXL box or whatever box, what you want to do is put your cardstock all the way in to the corner. Do you see it has like a little lip in the corner that holds your cardstock in place? You want to make sure you're all the way in that corner. And then because we're making the XXL box, I want to head to that bubble that says XXL, and I want to score all the way down the page. And the cool thing is, this is long enough for you to score all the way down. A lot of times with these boards, they won't be quite long enough. I know you've experienced that in different ways. This one is. Now, while you're here, go ahead and do your corner score. So you've done your straight line. Let's do the corner. And you're going to do this every single time until you have every corner done. Okay? So there is that. Now, the only time you won't use this one is when you're making the lid. The lid won't get the angle score, okay? Now we're just going to turn it, and I think that's 90 degrees. You're just going to turn it one turn, and we're going to go back to that same size and score again, and then we want to score our angle. And you see how I kind of start back a little bit? The reason I do that is because sometimes if I start right in the corner, it can lift my paper. You probably saw that do that in the first one. But if you'll start back a little bit and push up and then come back, you'll get a better score. All right, turn it again. You're basically going to do this on all 4 sides. That's how we're going to build a box. And then I'll start back a little bit and then rub that into place. And then I'll turn it one more time, and this gets me all the scores I need for the box bottom, just like this. So I want to show you what we've done here. So you can see here we have our angle scores, and then we have our boxes. Can you see there? It's hard to see that one, but it's right there. And there's our other angle, and we did it all the way around. Now that is for the biggest box, okay? We'll do lids in a minute. I'm going to go ahead. What I want to show you is I'm going to do the largest. I'm going to skip a size, do the next one. Then I'm going to skip a size and do the next one, just so you can see kind of the way they drop down. So I'm going to go ahead and cut myself a 10 by 10 piece and an 8 by 8 piece and score them just like I showed you, and we'll get right back together. So just as a quick reminder, I'm going to be doing the next size. I'm skipping a size and going to the next size, so I'll be doing large, okay? So this time, instead of scoring at the 2X, I'll score at the large and do the same thing, and I'll work my way down in sizes as I go. Now let's talk about the lid. It's a little bit different. So what I'm going to do is make the 2 extra large lid, because I'm going to be nesting my boxes inside of each other, so I really only need 1 lid. Now you can add other lids if you'd like. Each one can have its own lid, but I'm just going to show you how to do one today, okay? So we're going to put this piece in. It's 6.5 by 6.5. We're going to place it into the corner just like we did the others, okay? And this time, we are not worried about these guys because we're not making a box. We're making a lid. So we're only going to score at the lid, okay? So then we can just turn it and score at lid all the way around. So what changes here is just the size of the paper or the cardstock. That's what's going to create our lid for us. So we're just doing this. Now, if you wanted to do that angled score and then kind of fold this and glue it in, you'd have to trim a little bit off. You could, but that's not how I like to build my box lid. I'm going to show you how I do it using these scores. So before we go any further on any of our folding, let's talk about these little templates that come with your board. These guys are sized the same. Can you see that this says XXL? That lets me know that because I'm making the XXL box, this is the template I will need if I want to do the little corner pieces here so that they'll be heart-shaped, okay? And it will size down. So the XL I didn't use, but I did make a large. So I'm going to bring my large over and show you. This one will be the one I use here, okay? And then for the small one I made, I'll need this little template. Now it works with all of them. You have one of these templates for every size box that you can make, okay? So I will use these off camera, but I'm going to move them to the side for now, and we're going to look at the big one so you can see what I'm doing. So for this little guy, you're just going to lay this into place. Now what I do, I don't worry about this bottom quite as much. I mostly want to make sure that the heart curves are in the page, if that makes sense. What I don't want to do is worry about lining this up where my score mark's in and have that hang over. I don't want it to do that. So I'm going to sink this in and kind of bring it into my score marks a little bit so that my little heart curves will be where they need to be. And then we're going to trace. I'm not quite in the center there. Make sure I get in the center. Because what's going to matter more than anything is that the shape of the heart is there. You want it centered and you want to see the shape. You're just going to trace this from score line to score line. See, so you're going to get that little shape. And you'll want to do that all the way around just the same way. Now, what I'm going to do on these two sides is I'm not going to do it because I want you to see what this looks like if you don't. So we're going to do two sides and then I'm not going to do these sides. I'm just showing you how this works, okay? So that's what you do with your template. And then you just take your scissors and cut that out. So you can see here we have these little hearts on this end and I didn't do them on the others, but again, I want to show you a different option. Okay, so now that you have this done, if you wanted this on all four corners, you would do that. Then you'll just fold this guy up and crease him down. Now, I've told you this before, I use a bone folder that has a pretty large, that leaves a pretty large groove in my paper. So when I'm closing it, you can see I don't go quite all the way to my score line. I can edit it by kind of pulling and tugging to make that happen, or pull this over to my score line and then close this down. And that kind of takes up the space in the groove that I created and keeps me nice and even. So you want to try to pay attention. when you're folding this up, it needs to be kind of straight, okay? Because if you get crooked, it will show. So I'm going to pull that over to my score line. I'm also taking the time to line up these score lines. That one's a little off, so there we go. I want to make sure all of my lines are squared up as I go. Okay, so when you get to the corners, these little guys are going to fold inward, okay? So what you can do, what I find easiest is to hold it. Let me get it where in the camera where you can see it. Hold it like this. Place my finger, or you can use your bone folder down here at the end of the little heart, and then just bring that heart back over and stand this all up. That just starts that point, and that little heart will go right to the inside like that. So whenever the box opens, the explosion is the heart. Isn't that cute? Love that. I'm going to do the other one. So that is the heart explosion side. Let me show you the other side. Now, if you don't do the little angle there, some options you have is you don't have to do this score at all. You could just cut a line here, turn this in and stand it up. But I want to show you where it works really well if you do this. First off, let's look at it like this. If I just stand this up and close it like I did the heart, it closes just like that. You see how it kind of seals in? Isn't that cute? You get this pointy look at the end, which also looks good. This works to your advantage as well. So you can just have it closed like a nice sturdy box and keep that in there. Another option that you have, I'm showing you all these options. I hope it's not confusing, but when you're designing, you can decide which one you like. I really like this. If you take this corner that we score diagonal and you put one score mark and one score mark on your cut line of your trimmer, and you cut this away, look what you can get. You end up getting this angle, which is really cool as well. I'll show you how it works. You fold it the same. All of these fold the same. So you can have another option in your corner. So you can have this option, you can have the template option, or you can have the point option. So see how you can work with just about any of those to make the box. They all still, even if you mixed all the angles up, even if you did like I did and did everything different, it's kind of a Franken box. It still closes as a box and you still put a lid on it and it'll be fine. But you would obviously pick one of these corner styles that you like. I'm going to off camera assemble the other box bottoms and show you how these nestle together. Okay, so here's the yellow one folded. This is the large box because remember the biggest one we did was the 2X and then I skipped a size. So this is the large. Then I skipped the medium and did the small. So the small can then nestle inside of here. And I'm going to do that really quick so I can show you the space around it. So when you do this, you go ahead and add glue to the bottom center of your smallest box that will live just inside. And you just want to center it on the page. Now, what I find really easy is to lay this flat and just kind of make sure that my corners are lined up good, that I kind of have the same distance all the way around. I don't quite over here. Let's get that moved. And I'm even getting my score lines lined up all in all four corners and then rub that down. And let me show you what happens when you close the box in, and you can close these any way you want. I'm just going to get them to close for this, for the purposes of this demo. Get them all to stand up. All of this closes in like this. You put your lid on it and you can see you have space in between. But what I wanted to show you is I skipped the size. Okay, that's important for you to know. Let me show you on the board. Remember, we did 2X, large, and small. So you need to pay attention to just how little space is in between each one and know that if you went extra, extra large, and large, they're going to be very close together, okay? So for me, when I'm doing one of these, I might even skip 2 spaces. So I might do the 2X, the medium, and then the extra small, but you can play with that to get your sizes to work down, okay? So that is the smallest one we made today, and then the next size up, and everything will nestle. Everything will nestle. Let me get it all in here so you can see. These guys will close in. And it's, to me, it's better when you do some kind of treatment on all of the corners, either the angle or the template, because of this. Or there's other things you can do, and we'll get to that in other videos. But for this purpose, I just want you to see how the board works. So you see I've got 2 in there. Let's add this to our big box and close it all up. So before I can close my box up, I need my lid to hold it all in place. So let me show you how I do this. I like to cut this score line and this score line, and then I like to flip it and do the opposites on the other side. The reason I do is because I like to turn a tab in and a tab in. Now you might want to cut here so you can have a tab here and then cut here so your tab can be here and then here. So you see what I'm saying? You can turn your tabs around all the way around the box, but I just do it this way. It's just easy for me. So I come right here and I cut away my score mark like so. So I've left my score mark on the tab, and then I angle cut the tab. Why is that? Because it gets the bulk out and it lets me line it up easy. Now I want to do the opposite here. Okay, so what I did there, I'm just going to do it on the opposite. It's the same, but you will cut, your angle will look different. You'll see what I mean. It'll look opposite. So you see how we have the straight line and the angle going to the right, and then straight line angle going to the left. Now I want to take this and do it on the other side. So I'm going to flip this around and do it at the top, or what was the top. Angle in. Now I have to be honest, when you get this box home and you read the instructions, it may tell you to do your box different. Your box lid, I mean. I don't remember exactly how they told me to put this lid together. This is just how I put lids together. So I'm just using their markings, their measurements, and their score marks, and doing it the way I do boxes. You might see me sometimes only score a box with my fingers like this. Here's why. When you're doing a box, the sides only need to go up 90 degrees. You don't really need them to lay flat down. So just getting a good straight up score is really all you need. You don't have to really spend too much time with your bone folder on these if you don't want to. You can, you get a nice sharp edge, but this way it works and it gets the job done. All right, you guessed it, we're going to glue these tabs shut. So I'm going to add glue here, and then I will turn that over. And the beauty of doing that angle cut allows you to kind of wiggle this into place. You don't get any kickback here at the bottom. So I'm going to let that dry and move on to the next and get this lid all closed up. Got one more tab to close down. You guys might hear a little crafting mouse crafting in my room. My niece Lydia is here today. She's crafting and we're working on this lid, and it's so funny because her nickname is Lid. So I'm sure every time I say it, is it getting you, Lid? She shook her head, yes. So I've been like, Lid, 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 and that's her nickname. So, all right, we've got the lid ready. So let's close this guy up. So what happens is you get all of these guys closed up like you want them. By the way, I'm going to show you a finished box that we did in a few minutes. I want you to kind of see it. See how much better it is when you take the bulk out? This one that we did on the outside doesn't have all that bulk left in it. I just think it's better without it. But there you go. You've got your box closed up, okay? And then when you put your lid on, what I like to do is start from one side, catch everything into one side, and then bring it over. And isn't that really super cute? It's just a nice, neat, clean box. And then when the recipient gets it, they open it, and it's all of the fun explosion inside. Let me show you one that we made and completed. So this is one I did in a class recently, and I thought this one was a lot of fun. I'll show you. It looks like that. It's a birthday themed one, and I don't remember exactly which sizes I used. I'm pretty sure, I know the outside is the 2X. I think this one is just the one size down. Do you see how close it is? But this is the smallest box in the middle. And what, oops, let me put that down. What I did here was just make the very smallest box, and then so you could put a little present in there, put it in the middle on an angle. I just thought that was cute. And then we've got some little pullouts over here on the side, like this, and on this side, and you can do all kinds of stuff. This is just some ephemera from the paper pack that I used, and I just love how this turned out. So that gives you an idea, and you see I just angle cut. I didn't do the hearts. I wasn't sure who might get this explosion box, and I thought we won't do the hearts just in case. That way it works for everybody. Oh, I wanted to show you too. Here you can see I used these flaps to make these pockets, right? If you'd like to see maybe this class, maybe this project filmed in a standalone video, let me know. The class has been done, the students have taken it, so I can bring this to you as a video if you would like to see that. All right, guys, thanks so much. I really appreciate Terry's suggestion of showing you this. I told her too, what was funny is Taylor had actually put this on my list to show you guys. She makes lists of things for me to show you in our Maker Mondays, and this was on the list, and I said, good, I can check off 2 things at one time. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's Maker Monday. If you want to pick up any of the products I showed you today, they are linked in the description below. And please consider subscribing. I have a huge goal this year of 400,000 subscribers. We may or may not make it. With your help, we can. Hit that red button. It's free. There's also a little bell icon beside it. You can click that to set notifications so you'll get notified every time I upload a new video. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, bye now.